Hey, does that get everyone
We are being
relaxed?
censored. America's news outlets no longer provide the truth.
Yeah.
Joshua Phillip, senior
Let's get the other guy from the background out.
out.
Hey, everyone, how you doing? Oh, I got more mics on here than I think anyone else. How you doing? Good to see you. It's Tuesday, and I can report that fall has finally came here. So, yes, welcome everyone. Good to see you. Just want to say hello. Thank you for stopping in and adding your energy to the group. It's always welcome. Thank you, moderators. Y'all look beautiful. And the rest of you, man, is this just a far out looking group of people? Y'all are just beautiful souls. That's all I can say. So just invoking favor upon you this day. Fabulous favor. You know that I wrote the type of favor that no matter where you run, you can't escape it. It's going to overtake you. And that's the type of favor we're talking about. Nothing missing, nothing broken to be found in your life. So, hi, Hadley. Good to see you. Yes, thank you for the compliment on the t-shirt. Chris, it's interesting you talk about wholeness, balance, vibrations. Yeah, I'll tell you what, that is going to play a major role in our topic for today. Yes. So fall has arrived here. Hallelujah. I mean, September, I think they said we tied the hottest one on record. And that's relative. I mean, we've only been keeping records for less than 150 plus years. But anyway, hot. Hey, Emperor Rex, how are you doing? Miss Lois, Queen of Tarot, how are you doing? David Barry, much love to you, my friend. Big Al, that's the man. Terry, good to see you. Michael, Sabrina, Jama, how are you doing? Renee, boy, there's so many good people. Valerie, there's a song about you. Susie Q as well, and David, and think agape love always and forever. Absolutely. Sherry, how are you doing? Saw your email just before I got on. Lady Gray Raven, much love to you. Yeah, Chloe, good to see you as well. There's a lot of Jim as well. Jay. Wow, Pamela and Scott, how are you, my friend? Good to see you. Okay. So Jill, who is a member of our community here, her cat, and I guess is it Gita? Gita? Her cat is sick. So we're just going to send to her cat healing, comfort, and strength. So Jill, there you go. And to the rest of you out there, and if you're got some health issues and challenging as you get older, we just speak healing to all of you and favor. Speak favor to your body every day, and your body will love you back. It's odd to think about that, isn't it? That your body would love you back. Well, it shows you its love by the fact that it's imbalanced with your will, your spirit being. Your body has a spirit. Lilith taught us about that. Speaking of Lilith, what Chris made, this is far out, folks. There's Lilith there. She's with me everywhere. And of course, there's her sigil, which I wear. And Jamie in our group, she painted this. I've shown you this before, but Lilith is represented by the owl. And yeah, Lilith is here. Yeah, what can I say? It seems to be, as we continue to traverse this pathway in seeking truth, we find out that one travels many paths to arrive at the destination. And isn't that what we're trying to do here, is to arrive at a destination? We all hope it's the right destination, but nevertheless, that's what we're trying to do. And, I kind of look at it, part of that destination is arriving and beginning to think as gods. Now, I know that that sounds strange to humans, but it doesn't to the gods. And tell you, I think there's good evidence that many of us are just that. The challenge is to discover, when you've arrived, to begin to build with a new cornerstone. When you tear down one belief system, well, Hadley, there you go. You speak to her, it's on the record here. I told you all the day that it happened that Lilith visited me personally, and I can tell you, her kiss is a kiss that you don't forget. I know that sounds weird, but hey, it's true. It's true. All right, got a lot to cover here. I wrote this before I started because it kind of gives us a base to classes in order, So Robert's Rules of Order, take precedent. How many of you know what Robert's Rules of Order is? I'll check it out here in either the chat room or the comment section. And don't Google it. That's cheating. Anyway, before there was a religion called Judaism, Christianity, Islam, or the other many new religions that have come about within the last 2,000 years, there was an understanding and knowledge of the goddess and God and the many other gods. It was this way for millions upon millions of years. The universe and earth existed in harmony, and all forms of being coexisted in balance. Do not mistake that this was what is called paradise. It was not, but it was a peaceful place for the most part. The moon was created for the palace of the goddess, and it was a place where she could watch over her creation, and the God who shared her throne was in agreement. And so here is where our story continues. So we're going to be talking about, as many of you probably have already figured out, a lot of this is Wiccan. And Wiccan is a new belief system. Actually, I think there's a lot of foundation that says that it's actually maybe much more ancient, just revived within the 20th century, and may in fact be something many of us have been looking for. We're going to get continued in some of the structure of that. All right, so we're going to get into a book called The Book of Witch Moon. And it's dedicated to Hecate, the inspiration behind the grimoire, the goddess of the triple moon of youth, wisdom, and darkness, the Trinity. The Trinity plays such a vital role in here. It is the three-pronged foundation, as we're going to find out. Now, who is this goddess? Well, let's read. She who resides in the north, whose masks are many, Lilith, Diana, Oz, those daughters who shall meet thee in the crossroads. Blessed is her terrible name, she who blesses and curses with a glance. O mother of the bleeding moon, O bride of chaos and darkness born, may the pages of this book reveal thy lunar splendor when shadows envelop and open your eyes through her call. Hecus, Hecus, Hecate. So as we go through, we begin to see how far this goes back. The Liber Lilith really was so instrumental in laying the foundation, as I am finding out. We were a brave group here, those of us who went through the study. We went all the way up into the incantations, and it was still the right thing not to do. If you want the book, I'll be more than happy to send it to you. But so she takes on many different forms. In fact, Lilith actually technically sits on top of the U.S. Capitol building. Doubt me? Check it out. Yeah. Some could say that it's actually Lilith who sits in New York Harbor. Yeah, I know. Weird, isn't it? All right. The goddess and the god are the female and male essences of all encompassing life force responsible for all of creation, including the cycles of life and death on earth. As supreme deities, they are honored at the altar during every Wiccan ritual and often during magical work as well. Many ancient cultures worship a sky father and an earth mother in one guise or another, which modern day Wicca emulates to a certain degree. Each deity governs certain aspects of existence, but it is through their union that life on earth is created and sustained. I don't have a problem with that. And of course, there is Lilith, and as you can see, there is the owls accompanying her at each side. Notice what she's holding in her hand. If you want to go back, we've done this. We may do a review of it again. Lilith was the first. Eve is said to have been anything, most likely a copy, a genetic copy. We could put it into that terminology today. And of course, Lilith is represented by the serpent. Again, the Trinity. Lilith loves her children. Those whom she favors, she truly favors. I have been quite surprised that as we found, she has been so maligned in the consciousness of mankind. And it's an insult to really say mankind, for it is more humankind than it is mankind. But we continue. As the feminine half of this all-encompassing life force, the goddess is associated with both the earth and the moon. In her association with the moon, the Wiccan goddess rules the night and the ocean tides, as well as the reproductive cycles of women and the realm of the human psyche. In many Wiccan traditions, the goddess takes a threefold form known as the triple goddess. Her individual aspects, known as the maiden, the mother, and the crone, are aligned with the phases of the moon cycle as it orbits the earth, waxing, full, and waning. In this watery element, the goddess is associated with emotion, intuition, and the wisdom that comes from engaging with our shadow side. You know, we live in a time where, it's the emphasis of positive, 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 but it's in balance. It's unbalanced to think like that. Now, I know that may sound a little odd, but if you ignore your dark side, your shadow side, you're going to repeat a cycle. Listen, there's nothing wrong with positive emanation of energy, but reality has to begin to get grounded. Each of us have a shadow side, and you deny it, you're denying yourself. And as we have read, the travails of the afterlife will have to be paid, and that is knowing thyself. So, again, the goddess is represented in many forms. Going back to the times of the Greeks, it's representative that the moon goddess was superior in all forms. As I said earlier, it isn't until very recently in human history that this monotheistic mindset came in with the male dominance. It was not that way for the longest time. As the earth, she represents the grounded physical energy that allows all life to take root and flourish, and is associated with domesticated animals, fields, and crops. She is both mother and partner of the god, and together their cycles of planting, growth, and return to death keep the wheel of the year turning, clearing away the old and bringing forth the new in the timeless co-creation between this divine pair. You see how unbalanced it is, folks, today? We have to begin to come to a recognition, humanity. There is not a single God. And to eliminate the feminine is an asinine way to exist. And look what it's brought to humanity: misery, death, war, poverty, injustice. And yet we have the audacity to be hypocritical in our courts to have what? Justice as a female blind holding the scales? The problem is she has weighed the scales and she has judged us lacking. We're getting out of that. And so throughout history, and when we begin to look at us, a lot of what we're teaching here is been assimilated from bits and pieces. The one thing that the church almost did successfully was to burn the ancient knowledge away. They had to, because it was the single one indictment that the church and every other religion of an organized basis is guilty of. And she stands as their executioner, judge, jury, and witness. But yet the knowledge has been known. It's been secreted away. They did their best, Christianity, Judaism, Islam, to destroy the ancient knowledge. The Hindus probably have more of a representation as it really was. But again, this is called paganism, or the new term neo-paganism. As the essence of the divine masculine, the god is associated with the sun, whose strong light is considered to be an aspect of male energy, and which is necessary for the growth of all life. But he is also associated with the horned animals of the forest, and with the masculine energy of hunting the game traditionally needed for survival. Again, indicating a system that was here prior to all the modern ones. It's the Trinity, from which all religions that base on the Trinity have stolen from, plagiarized from. Maiden, mother, crone. So, allow me to get out of this. 1 second, folks. Thank you very much. So, it kind of establishes some foundation. And this all, folks, has to do with magic. It has to do with this whole cycle of journey that we're in. So let's continue. Now, we have, I wanted to bring this up. Those of you, I know I have a couple of you who I have not sent it to yet, but the PDF. So this is, let me see, I believe this is the Luciferian path. Yes. All right. So the daimonic feminine or goddess is indeed Lilith, Hecate. She has many names in mask, but revealed is something more terrible and beautiful than would be expected. She is the mother of all magic. And look how the word magic is spelled in its proper way. M-A-G-I-C-K. She lives in the blackened flame of both man and woman. You cannot walk the path of magic and shut her out. She devours or blesses. Her kiss means everything. And I'll share the story again. I know it was her. It was right in the midst of some serious communion going on with her when I was doing the teaching on the Liber Lilith. She came into our bedroom and kissed me twice. And I can tell you, I knew it was her. The thing it was very distinct. It took every bit of warmth out of my body. I mean, I was cold, the kind of what they call bone cold, but I wasn't harmed. And as I learned, that is her kiss. So she favors me for a reason. I have great empathy for her. Even if she never exists, she exists in the fact of the thoughts that we have surrounded her with. And she definitely got the short end of the stick. So did Samuel. It's a tragedy. We look at the world today. It's very evident how the God of modern man is incomplete, imperfect. You know, here's the mind coitus that goes on, folks, and I'll just lay it out there. How can you have something perfect create something imperfect? It's impossible. You explain to me in detail how that can happen. Yeah. Again, we continue. She devours or blesses. Her kiss means everything. Invoke the goddess and listen well to her words. She is Babylon. Babylon, not Babylon, Babylon. The crimson harlot who rides the infernal beast of the sun. She is Oz, the primal instinct of sexual hunger. She is the white goddess who would caress you before removing the flesh of her pale face to reveal a ravenous wolf. Lilith, Hecate, is the triple-mooned initiator. She who guides upon the path. In inspired lore, Cain was initiated by Lilith. She is the source, the point of Luciferian transference. The purpose of the descriptions of the grimoires is to offer a basic form of guidance through them. How one can get the most out of each one. This does not reveal any of the initiatory secrets which the sorcerer discovers through practice. It does, however, intend to give a directional focus towards the initiatory studies and practices. So this is really good. He gets into far more of this, but folks, we're going to be studying about the Sabbat. That's the male aspect of this. The Esbat is the female aspect of this. But again, I think it should be important to understand where Lilith, again, plays a crucial role in all of this. She is ever present, and I tell you, I don't know how anyone can deny the fact. I think that if there was a war, the war was between her and her adulterous partner. And I think that that's where possibly some of the myth, the lore, has come from. This war in the heavens. It doesn't make sense the way it's set up now, but it does make sense if you bring the feminine, the true goddess, back to her rightful position. And you can begin to understand now the friction. How many of you married couples know what hallway sex is? I think that's what happened. I know it's kind of a weird way to say it, but but it's true. Think about it. And those of you know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm reading some of the comments here. Joshua says, dark new moon Lilith at Virgo's feet while the virgin swears the son marked Jesus's birth. That's a very interesting point. Very interesting point. Whatever that there was to be born. And it makes one think about that if Cain was indeed, two things is going to happen here. The reason why it says that she initiated Cain was because Eve was raped by Jehovah, the Elohim, Yahweh. And the bastard son that was hidden from Adam was what Cain was. I'm talking about, talking about Peyton Place, baby. I mean, they got everything in this story. Wow. But hey, it seems like that's where the story is. We've read it. And again, the Liber Lilith, she didn't hold anything back. She told you exactly. She told us how it happened, how the thought was brought in, how the ugly scene took place. And, you know, even the quote unquote Bible has this huge gap, huge gap, you know, in the whole story. Yeah, there's a reason why they have a full gap to it. I don't want it out. All right, let's continue on. We got lots more to cover. All right. Wanted to bring this one to everyone's attention. So we have the Book of the Witch Moon. Now, this is an interesting book, folks. Same guy who wrote this, Michael Ford, is the one who wrote The Luciferian Path. This is so interesting. The book, and this is where the opening came from. So he's dedicating this to Lilith, is exactly what he's doing. And I found it very, I think she may have in fact liked it. Now, this is a cool book. He goes in through virtually every aspect of the fears that we have of the dark, you know, vampirism, the dead, werewolves. I mean, it goes through and it's a good read. I got to tell you, he's done amazing research. When you go back and check out the sigils in this one, I'll send it out to those who would want one. But he gets into the whole aspect of how these, I don't know if you want to call them legends. Maybe that's probably the more appropriate way of going through the Dark Ages, then coming into the Renaissance, the medieval ages. These all played a major role because remember, folks, the thing about it is my heritage is primarily through Wales, Scottish, and in that area there. We had the heritage that comes with that was the Druids. If you read the 29th chapter of the book of Acts, which, you know, the modern Bible doesn't have it, but there is one that exists, it was said that Paul went to learn from the Druids, spent a decade, so the legend goes, studying the secrets of the Druids, understanding their gods, understanding, you know, their magic. That's the best term I can say. But if you want this and you're really into really finding about how all of these, what we see today in modern day Hollywood, it is quite interesting. I got into about, you know, close to 50 pages and it was like, wow, this is really good. He talks about how witchcraft, sorcery. I mean, folks, the shamanism dates back hundreds of thousands of years, way before anything that we see today. And if you give notice to, particularly with the Catholic Church, so much of what we see today is, wow, I mean, I know exactly where it came from. I can show you. All right, continuing on. Got a lot to cover here. So in the book, the children of Cain, I found it interesting because we're dealing with perceptions here, and particularly words. The word sorcery. The reason why people don't like that word is that they're still indoctrinated in Christianity, Judeo-Christian beliefs. Islam picked it up behind that. There's nothing wrong with the term. Witches, which means nothing more than wise woman. But today, it's so stereotyped and so well indoctrinated into the young minds that by the time a mind is of 5 years of age on this planet, they're already indoctrinated with images, with the customs, the rituals that go along with it. It's true. Now, I wanted to read this here. The persecution of so-called witches did not begin with the arrival of the new Christian religion. Both the Greeks and Romans passed harsh laws against the practice of sorcery and any other forms of magic, not officially sanctioned or condoned by the established priesthood of the state religion. This is repeated, ladies and gentlemen, for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, which tells me that most likely the true belief system is the one that's been persecuted by every form of government, both secular and religious. Yeah. In classical times, the witch was regarded as both a social outcast and a dangerous threat to civilization. Why? Yeah. The witch was quite literally beyond the pale being the fence or fortified palisade that divided a town or city from the wilderness beyond. The witch was someone who oppressed the established religion and social order, worshiped Catholic deities, worked illegal magic. Now, isn't that an odd term? Illegal magic, and was intent on undermining the moral fabric of society, thereby causing anarchy. As a result of these beliefs, several thousand witches or magical practitioners are known to have been executed in Rome and Greece. In early medieval times, the first Christian laws against witchcraft were based on the old Roman laws. Folks, this has got stuff attached all over it. I mean, we're going to study more from this. I've got a lot more to cover in here, but we're going to pick up on this one because this begins to really at least establish what I would say a quantified, non-biased, non-religious, factual, historical account, not one created by the church or other organization or state government to pervert the truth. Listen, you don't do this type of effort unless, ladies and gentlemen, there is something that you are hiding and represents a huge threat. Think about it. And as we're learning here, and these are all academic papers, that you can see that the research is clearly showing a deliberate, with malintent, with hate, determination to completely exterminate any document or knowledge that is counter to the states. It's just a fact. And we live in a day now where the matrix is failing. The whole system is beginning to fracture. I wonder if it could in fact be that the light, so to speak, is being shown out of the darkness. Because that's where the light apparently has been protected, is in the darkness. Now, I know that that sounds like a misnomer, but think about it. Think about it deeply on this one, folks. Tea time. What do you think so far, huh? I'm telling you, this is just, it's knowledge, folks. It is complete knowledge. All right, let's continue where we left off. Yesterday, now remember, this is the simulation of this author's work by researching when Wiccan first emerged back in 1939 by Gardner, and immediately the explosiveness of the, I don't know, you could call it knowledge, you could call it pent up energy, but whatever happened, something radically happened. And we're reading those early roots of what the church, with great intent, tried to wipe out. All right, let's talk about the payment. I always thought this. So we found out that the brethren could, in fact, do curses. We still can. But you don't. There's a reason for it. You're going to carry the consequence of what your curse did, whether you be justified or not. That's not the point here. And it was, as we read yesterday, strictly forbidden. If you were persecuted, tortured, put on the pillory, don't worry about it, man. All right, so payment. This is an interesting thing. Never accept money for the use of the art, for money ever smeareth the taker. 'Tis sorcerers and conjurers and the priest of the Christians who ever accept money for the use of their arts, and they sell pardons to let men escape from their sins. Whoa. Be not as these. If you accept no money, you will be free from the temptation to use the art for evil causes. All may use the art for their own advantage or for the advantage of the craft only, if you are sure you harm none. And this is the one thing I'm finding about the Wiccan belief. You don't screw with other people. I mean, truly, it's, love thy neighbor. And they don't mean to bed your wife. No, it means to respect. It's interesting. All right. All may use the art for their own advantage. I like that. That says, that one we're going to get into more. All right. But ever let the coven debate this at length. Only if all are satisfied that none may be harmed, may the art be used. I mean, this is talking about divination of where gold is buried, bringing in that energy to where you line. Actually, what it's like, let me just explain this. It's like you walking in a casino and you know exactly what you have invoked. You know exactly what energies are around you. And what happens is that your energy emanating begins to pull these other energies in line with you, that you just so happen to walk up to a slot machine and put $1 and win $10,000. It's not just luck. Everybody else sees it as that. And they'll have no way in the casino to ever know the difference. They don't understand witchcraft. They don't understand spells and incantations. But if you do this properly and not for the purpose of becoming ignorant, in other words, wasteful, slothful, you'd be surprised. Now I could hear the casino saying, "What are you talking about, Steiger?" All right. If it's not possible to achieve your ends one way, perchance the aim may be achieved by acting in a different way, so as to harm none. May the curse of the goddess be on any who breaketh this law, so it be ordained. You know who the goddess is now. 'Tis judged lawful, if ever any of the craft need a house or land, and none will sell, to incline the owner's mind so as to be willing to sell, provided it harmeth him not in any way, and the full price is paid without haggling. Folks, this has got deep secrets in it if you're picking up on it. Never bargain or cheapen anything while you buy by the art, so be it ordained. Law of the land, 'tis the old law and the most important of all laws, that no one may do anything which will endanger any of the craft or bring them into contact with the law of the land or any prosecutors. Persecutors, it's the same thing. In any dispute between brethren, no one may invoke any laws but those of the craft, or the tribunal, but not of the priestess, priest, or elders. Wow. Discussion of witchcraft. It is not forbidden to say to Christians, as Christians do, there be witchcraft in the land, because our oppressors of old make it a heresy not to believe in witchcraft, and so a crime to deny it, which thereby puts you under suspicion. Still happens today, folks. But ever say, I know not of it here. Perchance there may be, but afar off, I know not where. But ever speak of them as old crones, consorting with the devil and riding through the air. And ever say, but how may many ride the air if they be not as light as the thistledown? But the curse of the goddess be on any who cast suspicion on any of the brotherhood, or who speak of any real meeting place or where they hide. Use of the art. Remember, the art is the secret of the gods and may only be used in earnest and never for show or vainglory. That's an old term, but what it means is for your own edification, building up your ego. It's like, hey, man, look at me. Magicians and Christians may taunt us, saying, you have no power. Show us your power. Do magic before our eyes. Then only will we believe, seeking to cause us to betray the art before them. Heed them not, for the art is holy and may only be used in need, and the curse of the gods be on any who break this law. It's like the video that, I don't know if you've seen, of the child levitating, taking place in Russia, where the guy was out throwing a stick with his dog, and then his dog obviously felt the energy and ran off a frame of the video camera. And as the man rounded, was out in the middle of the woods, came around, and here was a crone, an older woman, and obviously it may have been her granddaughter, who was levitating about, 8 to 10 feet above the air. She was actually levitating. It can be done, but that again is not something you're probably going to read through the great oracle of Google. Talks about training, punishment. There's a whole list on this. Now, I did find this interesting. This is the Wiccan reads. Bide the Wiccan reads ye must, in perfect love and perfect trust. Live you must, and let to live, fairly take and fairly give. From the circle thrice about, to keep unwelcome spirits out. Bind fast the spell every time, let the words be spoken in rhyme. Soft of eye and light of touch, speak ye little, listen much. The soil go by waxing moon, sing and dance the witch's rune. Winter shines, go by waning moon, chant ye, then a baleful tune. When the lady's moon is new, kiss hand to her times too. When the moon rides at peak, heart's desire, then you seek. Heed the north wind, mighty gale, lock the door and trim the sail. When the wind comes from the south, love will kiss them on the mouth. When the wind blows from the west, departed souls have no rest. When the wind blows from the east, expect the new and set the feast. 9 woods in the cauldron go, burn them quick, burn them slow. Elder by the lady's tree, burn it not, or cursed ye be. When the wind begins to turn, soon Beltane fires will burn. When the wheel has turned to Yule, light the log, the horned one rules. You heard about the Yuletime log? Heed the flower, bush or tree, by the lady blessed be. When the rippling waters flow, cast a stone, the truth you'll know. When ye have and hold a need, hearken not to others' greed. With a fool no season spend, or be counted as his friend. Merry meet and merry part. Merry, by the way, is M-E-R-R-Y for those who are just listening. Bright the cheeks, warm the heart. Mind the threefold law ye should, 3 times bad and 3 times good. Whenever misfortune is enow, wear the star upon your brow. Truth in truth ever ye be, lest thy love prove false to thee. 'Tis by the sun that life be won, and by the moon that changes be done. If ye would clear the path to will, make certain the mind is still. What goods be tools without inner light? What good be magic without wisdom's sight? 8 words the Wiccan read fulfill, in it harm none, do what ye will. I think that was curious. I love that, isn't it? By the way, go back through there. You can break those out. Those are, people have been wanting me to teach on spells. They're right there. Various aphorisms. For witches this be, where ye enter in, from there withdraw. And ye will secure the spell, cast some silver in the well. Okay. Enhance thy trance with drugs and dance, vervain, and deal lend aid to will. A lot of this is different Old English. Trifoil, vervain, St. John's wort, deal, hinder witches of their will. Okay, now I'm getting it. Deal. All right. Okay, Steiger, I'm catching up here. Upon the clock dependeth not. Success pursueth the persistent. Guilt flees when none pursueth. Powered share is powered lost. Seek thine enemy in secret. Thoughts are things, as man thinketh, so he is. No one person can accomplish all. Danger is never overcome without danger. The past is fixed, yet the future may be bent. Where communication fails, confusion follows. Some things cannot be understood by mortal man. Many such must simply be accepted. Rush in where angels fear to tread. The gods are with you. As a man thinketh, so he is. If you think small, you become small. Remember the passwords, perfect love and perfect trust. So trust the universe and be at home everywhere. Little secret, folks. If you imagine and fear, I will get trapped. Of course, you will get trapped. Fear not, and you won't. You are never less alone than when you think you are alone. Fear not, for fear is failure and the forerunner of failure. Pray to the moon when she is round. Luck with you shall be then abound. What you seek for shall be found in sea or sky or solid ground. Wow, that's pretty cool. The tenets. So here they are: reincarnation, learning, balance, harmony, love, trust, humility, tolerance. Yeah. I can't find any fault in that. I can't. It's like, okay. I thought this one was really cool. And by the way, this whole book's like this. Casting the circle. Needs. So you'll need an altar. You'll need 2 altar candles. You'll need a water bowl, a salt dish, a pinnacle, a censer, an ephim, a bell, a presence lamp, 4 quartered candles, a sword, if you want one, and a candle snuffer if you have one of those. All right. Let all be fit to enter into the presence of the gods. Start in the dark. You'll have a ritual leader. The ritual leader waits until it feels like time to begin, then rises. Lighting the candle, the ritual leader says, I light this candle in the name of the ancient presence, which is, was, and ever shall be male, female, all-knowing, all-powerful, and present everywhere. And in the names of the 4 mighty ones, the rulers of the elements, may power and blessings descend in this hour upon this place and those gathered here. The ritual leader then lights the 2 altar candles, the charcoal, and the 4 quarter candles from the presence lamp. Exorcism of the water. We talked about this with Trina. So the ritual leader kneels before the altar and places the water bowl upon the pinnacle. The ritual leader then purifies the water by plunging the tip of his or her sword into the water, saying, I exorcise thee, O creature of water, that thou cast out from thee all the impurity and uncleanness of the world of phantasms, in the name of Cernunnos and Serdowin. Got it right. Blessing of the salt. The ritual leader sets the water bowl aside and in its place sets the salt dish upon the pinnacle. The ritual leader touches the salt with the tip of the sword, saying, Blessing upon thee, O creature of salt. Let all malignity and hindrance be cast forth from thee, and let all good enter within. Wherefore do I bless and consecrate thee, that thou mayest aid me, and in the name of Cernunnos and Serdowin. Using the tip of the sword, the ritual leader takes 3 measures of salt, puts it into the water, then stirs the docile 3 times with the sword, saying, But ever mind that as water and salt purifies the body, so the scourge purifies the soul. So smote it be. And then casting the circle, though the ritual leader draws a circle, continuous from north, docile into the north with the sword, saying, I conjure thee, O circle of power, that thou be set a boundary between the world of men and the realms of the mighty ones, a meeting place of love and joy and truth, a shield against all wickedness and evil, a rampart and protection that shall preserve and contain the power that we rise within thee. Wherefore do I bless thee and consecrate thee in the names of Cernunnos and Serdowin. And if others are without, a gate is opened, and they are now brought into the circle with a kiss, and the circle is resealed. Consecration of the circle within the 4 elements. Now the ritual leader takes up the consecrated water and the asparagus of the circle with his or her finger, from north, docile, turning, unto north, and then touches each person within with the water, being touched and turned by his or her working partner, or another of the opposite sex, the ritual leader if available. The water bowl is returned to the altar. The ritual leader then takes up the censer and likewise censes the circle from north into north, going counterclockwise. Lastly, the ritual leader takes around the present lamps or a candle lit from the present lamps and returns it, calling the mighty ones. We might as well just go ahead and finish this. All stand and salute the east. The ritual leader stands in front of the group facing east. Maiden stands at back of group with the bell, in which the matron rings the bell. With the sword, the ritual leader draws 3 circles and then invoking earth pentagram saying, "Ye lords of the watchtowers of the east, ye lords of the air, I now do summon, stir and call you up to witness our rites and guard the circle." All turn and face south. The ritual leader and maiden move to corresponding positions. Others just turn in place. The maiden rings the bell. With the sword, the ritual leader draws 3 clockwise circles, then invoking the earth pentagram saying, "Ye lords of the watchtower of the south, ye lords of fire, I now do summon and stir and call you up to witness our rites and guard the circle." Similar, the same thing with the west, in which is said, "Ye lords of the watchtowers of the west, ye lords of water, lords of death and initiation, I now do summon and stir and call you up to witness our rites and guard the circles." And if you notice, he's left the names out. We'll get into the reason for that. And finally, with the north, "Ye lords of the watchtowers of the north, ye lords of earth, Boris, thou guardian of the northern portals, I now do summon and stir and call you up to witness our rites and guard the circle." All turn back to the east and salute. So, and that's pretty much, then we go through the whole ritual of closing the circle. But anyway, I just found this interesting, folks. Many of you have been asking for, well, how do we do this? Well, you know. Find a local coven. I don't know. Many, I can tell you in modern day, there are many single soul practitioners, much like myself. I haven't found that many enlightened people around. Many neighborhoods are still leery of that. However, I'd probably be surprised. Yes, David, wasn't that really interesting? It really is. It shows you how you get a circle like that and you're going to do magic. You're going to do magic of the highest kind. And I have no doubt you'll be visited by those of the highest kind. It just goes into place. Lady Gray Raven, I agree. It's how I learn. Yes, we'll have to close the circle as well, Timothy Watt Jr. Yes. So guys, don't go out and do this, or get the PDF. It's free. I'll send it to you. Read it, study it. It's chocked full of many places that otherwise, you can go through a lot of documents, a lot of books that people write that are just nonsense. I mean, I read some of the things and I'm going, okay, it's not my cup of tea. I'll just put it that way. But nevertheless, it's still, this one is very interesting. Every one I present to you, it's not one that's going to be what I would consider of questionable authentication. We know who wrote these. We know their research. When do we start with the mirrors? We're going to start next week, Big Al. How's that? We have a couple of manuals we need to read just to get people, orientated. This is part of that process. It really is. It all ties in. All right, folks, this has been a far out day. I really have enjoyed this. The energy has just been flowing through here. And thank you all. I mean, we're learning. It's all a process. And I love this because, Darth, you can get them, just email me. You know why I really like this? It's because It's good. I don't find any evil in this. I mean, I don't find anything that violates will. I don't think anything that violates respect. It's all. I mean, if our society could live by these tenets, this would be paradise. It literally would be paradise. There would be no poverty. There would be no greed, no need for it. Coveting another person's possessions, wouldn't need it. We would be almost full time in wanting to help everyone else around us. And what happens is that when you're lifting someone else up, someone's lifting you up. Where am I going wrong on this? That's what I'm asking. I've known about Wiccan, but it's just not been one, because I was suckered in by assuming that, well, it's just a bunch of that new age spiritual crap, It's just a bunch of people acting like, whatever. No. Again, purposely maligning a way of life. And if ascension is the goal, then explain to me where I'm missing it, because I wrote this a long time ago. It's right here. It stays. Ascension requires integrity, truthfulness, humility. That's everything I'm reading right here. All right, folks, I hope you've had fun. Abundant favor be unto you this day. Thank you. I appreciate all of you. You're making this community grow, and we'll continue on. Tomorrow, Trina will be on. Looking forward to that discussion. I really want to get into the Trinity. I mean, very fundamental aspects of this. We've got to continue to pursue that. And we'll just continue to ask Lilith to be with us. All right, folks. Much love to all of you. Peace, and be good to yourself. Who else is going to be good to you? You be good to yourself, and you'll be good to others. All right. See y'all tomorrow. Thank you. Ciao.